afternoon. It's about 127 o'clock. Oh, sorry. It's 2 in the afternoon. I've been off for a few days from doing any work in my shop because I've had other obligations, i.e. a job that pays the bills and gets me the money to get materials for my shop. I haven't been able to come out here when it's been most beautiful and in the upper 80s outside and the lower 90s. Instead, I chose the day to come out to my shop. It's about 97 degrees outside and about 112, 115 in here. I'm going to let you know that most of this video that I'm going to be doing the work on is going to have music running over it. I'm not going to be talking over it simply because I've got one monster fan on. I don't have it running while I'm talking because if I had it running, you wouldn't be able to hear me for the sound of murder hornets in the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, kill the song, kill the audio, let the music play that one of my kids created, and I have her linked on my YouTube page if you want to check out her stuff. I'm going to go ahead and hook this up to the chuck. We're going to hook it up to the lathe and get started. I hope you enjoy what you see. I'm going to start out working with my roughing gouge. That's a shop mate. Not the best material in the world. Like I said, we work within a budget. And I had actually saved up some money to pick up something new. It's a real treat for me to use for first time. They're carbide tipped turning tools that I picked up on Amazon, and I'll show them off a little bit later in this video and let you guys know where I found them. So sit back and hopefully enjoy the show. Sorry about the lack of commentary, or as case may be. Congratulations, no commentary, you actually get music. And I'm going to see what I can do with this. Have fun. All right, let's take a look at this here and see what mistakes I made. Beginner's mistakes. And I'm close enough to be a beginner that I'll raise my hand to. A beginner's mistake and some stupidity. I'm used to working with high-speed tools, high-speed steel, okay? This right here is about 18 inches long, about 14, 18 inches long, about 1.5 feet long. Compare that to that tool. It's got about an extra 3 or 4 inches on the end. It weighs considerably different. This is a carbide tip, replaceable head turning tool, wood lathe tool. I'm not used to these. As a matter of fact, I just got these a few days ago, and my dummy mistake that I made was trying this out on a piece that I'm currently working on. Instead of taking a piece of wood or a piece of resin, throwing it on the lathe and getting my hand and my eye in. And because I didn't do that, I wound up with this beautiful honking chunk missing right out of my bowl. It goes about halfway in. I'm gonna have to find a way to smooth that out, round it out, which I can do without losing too much material. But I have to be careful when I'm carving out the inside of the bowl not to meet it and, you know, wind up destroying my bowl. And I don't know if the camera will show too well. I've got gouges here as well. I'm still getting a feel for this tool. With these tools, you can keep a steady pressure on them and they bite into resin real well. If you try to use these carbide tools the same way, you're in for, well, an explosive mistake. I'm going to be picking pieces of resin out of my garage for the next week as I find them when I clean up, because it had an amazing shotgun effect when this entire edge went away. With these carbide tips, they cut into resin like butter, so you have to have a very, very fine touch and make sure that your edge matches up with the resin. The other problem that I had was this bowl was off center. We knew it would be when I made the pour, just slightly. You can still see how it's off center on the inside. That's one of the disadvantages to pouring like I did in this experimental pour, is I didn't know where center would exactly be, and I figured I'd find it or recenter this bowl when I got it on the lathe. Using this, however, before it was recentered, caused this tool to skip and bounce, and because I wasn't used to it, I leaned into it a little more and caused some more chipping. So when you are a new wood turner or resin turner and you get a new set of tools, whether they be high-speed steel, a shorter high-speed steel, or carbide tips, take a piece of wood, just a piece of junk wood, even a 4x4 from Home Depot or one of your other box stores would work just fine. Slice it off and throw it on the lathe just to get your hand in and practice. I'm going to keep working on this, but definitely learn from my mistakes. All right. Some minor distractions today, doing some house construction, changing some floors out. So it's now nighttime, it's a lot cooler in my shop. And as you saw from the video, this was a trial and error process. Worked with some brand new tools today, and I absolutely love the way they hollowed out this bowl, how quickly I was able to do it. The only problem that I have with it is it feels like I'm living inside a cotton candy machine. Now, contrary to what it looked like, this actually took me the better part of 4 to 5 hours. Don't let any of those YouTube videos, including this one, fool you. If you're starting out with wood turning, bowl turning, resin turning, it does not go fast. You have to go slow. You have to take your time and you have to be patient. You can't rush. If you rush, if you're heavy-handed with this type of equipment, it will fight you, it will bite you, and it will hurt you. And if it doesn't hurt you, it will definitely hurt the project you're working on. This bowl actually got cut down pretty severely. I had to lose about ½ an inch on the inside lip because of the chunk that I took out earlier because I wasn't familiar with the tools. That's not going to happen again, I hope, but unfortunately it will, because that's just life. You take a moment's inattention, you slip of the hand, and you wind up coming close to ruining a project. I'm going to move on now to sanding down this project. This is another tool that I got online, and it is made specifically for turning and sanding. It's got a rotating head, it's got Velcro sandpaper, and it comes in grits from from 80 grit all the way up to 3,000 grit. My apologies for coughing at you. Now, when it comes down to the back of this bowl, where I've got the chuck, I originally thought I was just going to cut it off, but that would shorten the bowl too much. My bowl chuck did not come in like I was hoping, so I'm going to have to get creative, and I'll explain more about the situation of the bowl chuck in another video. Probably in the video where I go over all of my equipment and the price that I've had to pay for a lot of this stuff for those of us that are on a budget. But this little piece I think cost me $35. The sandpaper packet that I ordered comes with a drill attachment also, but it comes with everything from 180 to 3,000 grit. Comes with 200 sanding discs. So that's enough to last me a little while. I'm going to go ahead and get into sanding this. As you can see, I've got my guard and my tool rest out of the way. And I'm going to see if we can make this thing look prettier than it already does. And I'm sorry, in my personal opinion, the colors in this bowl look absolutely amazing. I'm going to probably resin the bottom of this bowl, maybe with something special inside of it to make it stand out from just an ordinary, average, everyday bowl. So let's see what we can do. So I've taken off the chuck, and I have to say, for an experiment, it turned out pretty good. Still got some pieces of tin foil on the inside, but I've got a few ideas about what I'm going to do with this. I'm planning on the next video adding some light to the base of this bowl and resining the light into place that will fill up the cavity once I've got it cleaned out. And the light will be LED light, like an LED strand. But this project is not done yet. This is just an experiment. But for an experiment, I think it turned out rather nice. You've got a nice, clean, clear resin. Got a little bit of a blemish on the inside from where one of my tools jumped and skipped, and I didn't get it cleaned out perfectly like I had wanted to, because the chips ran just a little bit deeper than expected. But I think the coloring came out quite stunning. Even the little paint drops here in the bottom add a little bit of character to it. So this is it for this video. I've done the turning, I've done the polishing and the sanding. Next video is going to be, well, making it beautiful. Not bad for an experiment. But I want you to think about this. That bowl that I cast took about half a gallon of resin. This shopping bag is the resin that was the cast off. All of the waste material from the carving. Now, if I had tried to make a bowl from a cylinder cast, I probably would have used about a gallon to a gallon and a half of resin, and I probably would have wound up with about 4 bags this size just carving out the bowl. So as an experiment that needs a little bit of perfection, or perfecting, my apologies, I think it came out pretty well. There are other techniques that you can use to save yourself resin by adding product into the resin, such as wood, figures, pencils, things like that Nick Zametti does. And there are other ways like adding waste product, like this, into the core of your resin cast, the part that you're going to hollow out anyhow. And it's something that I am going to try later on. But for now, I want to thank you very much for joining me. I would like to thank you for taking your time watching the video. If you have a chance, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button down below, ring the bell. I could always use new viewers, and share my video if you think other people will enjoy it. This is Rob Baker. I am your kilted Celtic craftsman. Thank you for watching Stone Circle Creations. Be kind to each other, be safe out there, and take care of yourself. Good night.